work with Christina Berg. We are here to help with anything that has to do with life after high school. So I schedule appointments. If you want to have a private conversation, we do some sessions where you are able to ask the questions that you have. Make sure that you're checking in. There's an online link to register for sessions, but also there's a 3-ring binder in the CRC that you can just sort of flip through if you're more of a paper person to just see what's coming up and sign up for things that are of interest to you. So today we're going to talk about 3 things. We're going to talk about the types of college applications because we've had some students get burned in the past. And so we want to make sure that you're applying using the right application. Then we're going to talk about what that process actually looks like. And then we're going to talk about, many of you will have to write essays. And if you don't have to write an essay for a college application, you very well may have to write an essay for a scholarship application. So we'll get some tips from former students about, what that should look like and how to sort of manage all of that. So first, we're going to talk about the types of college applications. So number one, there are different types, right? So we'll walk through those really quickly. So you'll hear lots of terms that you potentially have not heard before. So if you want to take a screenshot of this, or I can share this with your advisory teachers if you would like to see the slideshow. But we have kind of the most selective and the most restrictive is called early decision, also known as ED. So applying early decision means that if you are admitted, you have to go there. So you should only be applying early decision to those colleges where if you get admitted, you are going to go there. It's like the place you wanted to go since you were 5 years old. And if you actually get in, absolutely you're going there. So I underlined the word binding so that you're aware that if you get admitted, you have to go there. And you might be asking yourself, well, they can't make me do anything. Well, okay, I hear that, but that also means you're not going anywhere else, right? So if you sort of pull back on an early decision commitment, that information is absolutely shared with other colleges. So you very likely will not be able to go anywhere else.
Stop by during your lunch only if you see any mistakes or required classes that need to be added. Thank you.
So if you missed that, sorry, because I was talking, please check your trimester 3 schedule and please connect with your counselor today, tomorrow, or Thursday outside of the main gym during your lunch if you need to make a change to that schedule. They will not be making changes to schedules after Thursday. So get it figured out before Thursday. Okay, second type of college application is called early action. And it is what it says. So there's an earlier deadline. They make a decision earlier and sooner, which for me as kind of a type A person, I would want to get my applications out and I would want to know as soon as possible so that I could evaluate my options, right? This is not a binding decision. So just to keep those two sort of different, in different buckets. There's also something called restrictive early action. I'm not sure why they don't just call it early decision because it's basically early decision. So again, just be aware that there are application types. So you could be clicking a box to say, yeah, early decision sounds great. I want to make a decision early. And that is binding. So just be aware of what you're clicking when you're applying to a college, right? Then there are these other sort of 3 types of applications. You might hear the U of M is perfect for this. They have what they call a priority deadline. I actually think they might call it an early deadline, but it really is the sooner you apply, the sooner you will be admitted. Not admitted, the sooner you will know if you've been admitted. Sometimes I would put the U of M in this bucket. It may mean you have a better chance of admission because they're seeing your application sort of sooner then they're seeing other applications. So rolling admission, which means you apply, they look at your application, they give you a decision. Then somebody else applies, they look at your application, they give you a decision. So their deadline might not be until June, right? So not this June, but next June for you as a junior. So they just sort of, as the applications roll in, they make decisions. Okay, so the sooner you apply, it means you'll get a decision earlier, which again, I think is a decent strategy. So those are the types. So next we'll talk about what the process looks like. Again, this is kind of where most of the questions tend to come from juniors at this time of year. I just want to remind you that you've been in advisory since 9th grade, right? In 9th grade in advisory, we did some assessments where you learned about your skills and your interests and your strengths. And then in 10th grade, we were looking at the types of careers that you thought might be your path. And then this year is the year that you're thinking, okay, so I want to do one of these two things as a career. Which colleges do I need to apply to? Or really, do I even need to go to college, right? And then next year is when we kind of put those plans into action. So as a reminder, advisory is meant to sort of help you through this process. So paying attention in advisory, doing the things in advisory, that's what you're supposed to be doing. So you know what you're supposed to be doing, right? So this is the full process. You apply, you send a transcript. They might need an ACT, they might need a fee, they might need an essay or a letter of recommendation. But we'll talk about each of these kind of individually. So the first step is the actual application for admission. This is only found online, and you can apply as a junior. You're a junior student. You will not be able to apply until August 1st of this year, 2025, for the following fall of 2026. Okay, so don't be applying to college now, just thinking I'm going to get a jump on it, because it's not your application yet. Yours won't be released until August 1st. So when you go to a college website, this is what the U of M's looks like. You're just simply going to look for the button that says apply. So this particular website, it's right there at the bottom. You click apply. This is North Hennepin's. You're looking for the apply button. So there says apply today. So you click on that button and then you follow the instructions. So super simple. You just go to the college website, you find the apply button, you click it, you get to work. All colleges will require some form of transcript information. So this can get a little bit complicated in that some colleges just want you to send your transcript to them. We'll talk about how that looks in a minute. But some colleges, like the U of M, like any college that you might apply to on the Common app, they don't want your transcript necessarily. What they want from you is you to type into their system every class you've ever taken, how long the class was, and what your grade was in that class. So be prepared to sit for like an hour to type in all of your transcript information if the colleges that you're applying to require a transcript, but not really the transcript, right? So whenever I go to the CRC website, I don't have it memorized. So I just Google OSH CRC. You'll see at the top, just OSH CRC. It's always the first link that comes up if you're looking for our website. If you're looking to send a transcript, you're going to click on transcripts and requests. And you're going to come to this part of our website. And at the bottom, it says request a transcript. So this is going to bring you to Parchment, which is where you'll make all of your requests. So as a current student at Osseo Senior High, you will not pay for a transcript. So you can send transcripts to colleges, to scholarships, to coaches for, NCAA eligibility. All of that is free while you're a current student. So don't be stingy. Or if you need a copy of your transcript, you can always pop in here and we can print a copy for you. So ACT, you guys are going to take the ACT in a couple of months. What is the date today? The 25th. So actually, 2 months minus 3 days is when you're going to be taking the test. It's April 2020 bucks. The U of M is $55. I think UW-Madison is up to $75. So if you're applying to a handful of colleges, be prepared to spend a couple $100 on application fees. If you are eligible for free or reduced lunch and you have submitted the application for free or reduced lunch, then Chris or I can send a fee waiver for you to the college. And many times they'll just waive that fee for you so you don't have to pay. This is one of those reasons, like everybody gets free lunch now. So this is one of those reasons where you might actually want to submit that application to see if you're eligible for free or reduced, because we can pay college application fees, we can pay AP exam fees, we can pay all of these fees, but we need to see your name on the list as free or reduced. So if you have questions about that, let us know. And then finally, private colleges typically require an essay or a writing sample and some letters of recommendation. So as we talk about this, there are a couple of things that I just want to mention. The first is when a college is looking for a letter of recommendation, I want you to keep in mind that they already have your application, they already have your transcript, and they're not looking for a letter of recommendation to just basically say the same stuff, right? If I can read your application and I can see your transcript, I'm looking for additional information. I don't just want to see the clubs and stuff that you're in, and like that's already on your application. I don't want to see what a great student you are because that's already on your transcript, right? So I would always choose a core area teacher, and I would always choose someone who knows you well and has a positive opinion of you. Now, if you don't know what a teacher would say about you on a letter of recommendation, that's probably not the right teacher, right? If you're just kind of like, I don't know if they like me or not, then I wouldn't choose that teacher, okay? When you're looking at someone to ask, make sure you ask if it's okay. Do they have time? Do they have like the capacity in their life as a parent and a spouse, and they do stuff outside of school, even though you think they don't? Like their lives are busy as well. So make sure you're asking if it's okay, hey, Miss Maz, I need a letter of recommendation for this scholarship. Would you have time to write that for me in the next couple of weeks? Don't ask them the day before. I would say no every single time. And I'm encouraging teachers to say no every single time that they get asked the day before it's due. That's not fair. That's not nice. So make sure you know who you're asking. Make sure you're asking someone who's going to say nice things about you. And then make sure that they have the capacity to make it happen in your time frame. Some colleges may also want a letter of recommendation from someone who knows you outside of the classroom. And lots of times students have questions about, well, who should I ask for then in that circumstance? So you can ask your counselor, you can ask a coach, you can ask your employer, you can ask somebody from church or your faith community. Ask somebody who knows you pretty well and can speak to who you are outside of the classroom. And then I also just want to say that teachers don't have to write you letters of recommendation. So if someone takes time out of their schedule to do this for you, you need to say thank you. You need to handwrite a note for them potentially. Maybe you ask them what their favorite candy is and you get them a bag of it. Just getting the letter of recommendation and then going about the rest of your life as though this person hasn't really helped you, it's not okay, right? So I hear from teachers a lot that, I wrote 17 letters of recommendation this year and I didn't get a single thank you. And that really sucks. And I think it might make teachers less likely to want to write more letters of recommendation. So, you know, thank the people that are helping you out, because it's really, remember, they might be evaluating you, and you want to make sure that you're making a good impression. Okay, finally, we're going to talk about some college essays and samples. I'll give you some examples of writing samples. So you are always welcome to provide extra documentation to a college application, even if it's not required. So let's say there's something going on in your personal life, or you have a really unique, living circumstance, or you have done something really cool, like research-wise. Maybe you did a summer camp and you did a bunch of research. This is your opportunity to tell the college more information about yourself that's not already on your application or on your transcript, right? I would say this is the hardest part of an application, is the essay. There's not really a lot of guidance. It's usually open-ended, like, tell us about a time when you overcame a challenge, right? And you're like, oh gosh, what might that look like? My advice is make a plan. Don't just start, you can just start writing, but then you'll have to go back and revise many times, right? So think about what you're going to write about and start with a sentence and build up from there. Please show you know how to tell a story. Please make sure you're using periods and capital letters and, the right punctuation. You need a really great first sentence that's going to grab the reader and make them want to continue reading. And the technical correctness, I cannot stress enough that if your essay is just bad, like you wrote it like you write your texts with no capital letters and no punctuation, that's not a good look, right? So make sure you know how to tell a story. Make sure you're building out from a narrow focus, like this is what I'm going to talk about. And then make sure that you have a really good sort of grabby first sentence. There are some examples here. Actually, I'm going to post this on Schoology so you can click on these links. So here's a website. Sorry, no, it's going to, we'll go here. So top college essay examples, like these are actually somebody's words. So you can see what works, what doesn't work, that sort of thing. But you want to make sure that you are doing a really good job, right? Because you could potentially be getting admission to this university, or you could be maybe getting a scholarship based on this essay, right? So we want to make sure that it's good, right? So I'll share this on Schoology, so you have access to those examples if you're interested. And that's really all I have for today. So if you have any questions, I will stay here until the end of advisory. If you have questions, you can unmute. Your teacher can unmute and ask the question, or you can type it right inside the chat. Thanks very much for attending, and let us know if you have any questions. We're here to help. Thanks for coming.